Oh, come on. Come on, you piece of junk. Come on, start, not again. Oh, let's see if the radio still works. Yeah, well, yeah, there's, oh, that show Motor Mouse is on.
Oh, that show Motor Mouse is on. Well, good morning, and welcome to your Motor Mouse show, your SLO County Car Talk show featuring Mr. Stop and Mr. Go. This is Jeff Spevack, Continental Motor Works, known for the next hour as Mr. Go. Sitting next to me, raring to stop and go and talk, Per Matheson. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Jeff.
How are you?
I'm fine.
So we are the Motor Mouse show. We are a live call-in car talk show. So the way that works is we invite you to call us about your car. Phone lines are open at 543-8830. That's 543-8830. So if you have a car story or question or comment or pet peeve or a warning light on or a funny noise, you don't know whether you're going to keep it or sell it, we'll put you on the Motor Mouth couch and talk to you. Please give us a call. Matt and I could talk for hours about cars, which we do, but this show is more interesting, I think, to all of you and to us here in the studio when you call us. So be that first caller, 543-8830, and you'll win a prize at Continental Motor Works.
Yes, that's for sure.
So I was going to talk a little bit about, usually I think about what happens in the shop during the week, and then I kind of bounce off of that. And so had a customer come in, had just bought their car about a month ago and have already put a lot of money into it. And I don't say it to them because it's after the fact, but I'm thinking you should have done a vehicle pre-purchase inspection.
Yes.
So we talk about that on the show, and I do really urge you, those of you out there that are looking at used cars, whether you buy it from a dealer, whether it's dealer certified or whatever, or a private party, is we can be your advocate. So if you bring it in for a vehicle pre-purchase inspection, which costs about $150, number one, we can tell you, give you peace of mind and say, yeah, it's a great car, buy it. Or more likely, though, we're probably going to say, yeah, it is a great car, but it might need this, and this, which will give you bargaining power to get the car for the right price and give you the knowledge that you need to know going in. Or we may say, no, this car has not been taken care of, or it was in an accident, or it was in a flood, or whatever. Or it's not worth anything close to what they're asking for it, and we tell you to go looking for another car, or we may tell you, that isn't a good car in the first place. Buy a different one.
Yeah.
But we can be your advocate, and I just think it just gives you so much of a better car buying experience when you let us or another shop do a vehicle pre-purchase inspection for you. And that's not just a 5-minute driveway, pop open the hood. That's like test the engine, test the transmission, inspect tires, brakes, suspension, steering, belts, hoses, fluids, lights, see if the car's been in an accident, make sure it drives straight down the road, make sure the steering wheel's straight. I mean, all of those things go into it, and I think it's what we do.
The thing about this, if you buy a new used car, and if you buy it from a private person, make sure you get the repairs papers that he might have.
Yes.
Or you find out where he had his car serviced.
Yes.
Because if you can then go back to the people that had serviced his car and say, okay, I'm thinking about buying this car. Can you look up on your records? Because the shops will definitely have records.
Yes.
Now, of course, if you have a customer or have a person you want to buy from, they said, well, I used to take my car to wherever I felt like it. Well, be a little bit careful, because then nobody has been responsible for that vehicle being in really good shape.
Yeah, the best case scenario is what Matt's talking about. If you can find a one owner,
yes,
who's been having it serviced at the same place, that's gold, and that makes that car worth more money. Yeah, I mean, then you just know everything. Whereas when you're buying it from a dealer, the records have been taken out of, and you may not find out anything. And it's just you just don't have the information. You have a lot of guesswork to do. And then once again, what Matt just said about getting the paperwork, a lot of times people come in and they go, well, this car had an engine replacement. Well, where's the paperwork?
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't know. The guy just told me.
Yeah, no, that's right, yes.
Then I don't think it was done.
The same thing with the transmission.
If there's no proof in the paperwork, then how do you know? And how do you know who did it, or if somebody put in a used engine, or what it was, or if it was done in someone's backyard, etc.? Hey, let's talk to Jessica from Morro Bay. Good morning, Jessica. Thanks for calling.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
How are you today?
Well, I'm getting over the flu, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry for the voice.
I'm glad. No, you sound fine. So tell us what you would like to talk about.
Well, I've got a 2003 Ford Explorer, and I've had the upper ball joint replaced on the passenger side 3 times now.
Wow.
And I'm wondering, I keep asking, is there something else going on? It can't just be the joint itself. And I'm wondering what we should be looking for.
Did I tell you why they replaced the ball joint?
Well, that it was broken.
So
if it's broken, then the wheel is falling out or falling off.
How do you know that it needs a ball joint? Does it start knocking? Does it start making noise for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. What kind of noise? Does it squeak?
It's like a grinding. It's like a grinding.
When you turn, or when you go over bumps?
When I turn.
When you turn. Okay.
Well, that lubrication.
Yeah.
I mean, a ball joint shouldn't do that. Okay.
A ball joint should last like 75,000 miles.
Oh, yes, at least.
Maybe even more. I mean, so something's not right here in this scenario.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is that on ball joints there are specifications. And the mechanic that is measuring the specifications on the ball joint has to write down on the repair order how loose is, if it is loose. Or actually what the problem with the ball joint is. There have been so many ball joints sold that were not necessarily that the state came out and put some rules on it.
So a ball joint is kind of like a hip socket.
Yeah, right.
If you can think about that, it's a ball inside of a socket, and it's really not supposed to have any play in it, or maybe. Well,
it depends on if it is a load carrying ball
some
joint
of them do
or
have,
a non-load carrying ball joint, depending on where the coil spring or the spring is on this vehicle.
Yeah.
So if it is on the upper control arm, then that is a load-carrying ball joint, and they have some play in it. Now, if it is the spring is between the lower control arm and the frame on the vehicle, that is a following ball joint, and that's not supposed to be loose at all. But it should not make any noise as you turn, because they're supposed to have grease fittings on them that is lubricatable.
So, Jessica, when you say you've had 3, is that what you said?
Yes.
So can you give me the timeline?
Yes. So I started hearing the noise and feeling it in March of last year, and I took it to a mechanic at that point. But it takes a while to warm up and make the noise, so they couldn't hear it, and so I kind of kept bringing it back. Finally, got it diagnosed in August. So we changed it out the first time in August.
So you're just talking about 5 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And then did that fix the noise?
It fixed the noise for about a week. It slowly came back.
Okay.
So then I took it back.
Yeah.
And they replaced it again in October.
Okay. And
then just again this week.
Okay. Did I charge you for it, the second and third?
No.
Okay. Well, see, now they're good. So they're good at that. They take it back to say that it's a defective ball joint. They take it back to the dealer, and they get their money back on it.
Yeah. So something's missing from the.
Yeah. How many miles on this vehicle?
145,000.
Okay. So Matt, what makes a ball joint wear out other than the ball joint? Has this vehicle ever been in an accident?
No.
Is it a 4-wheel drive?
No.
Okay, and this is front, obviously. So could it need a control arm, or could it need a
a ball joint doesn't make that kind of noise.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's fixing it when they replace it.
Well, see, a week later they start making noise again, and that is, in my opinion, not the ball joint. I would like to hear this noise that this car makes. So it's making noise now?
Well, yeah, that's why I called.
It's doing it again.
Okay,
yeah.
So now you say that the car has to be warmed up before it makes the noise?
Yes, so it definitely, if I drive for about 25 minutes, half an hour, it definitely does it more. Or if I drive it uphill, up a pretty significant hill, even when it's cold, it'll start having issues. And it's mostly when I go in reverse. So if I park backwards for some reason, so in a parking lot, park in rear end first, and have to turn, nice and sharp and slow, it'll definitely do it.
So it sounds to me like something. So when they replace the ball joint, why did they tell you that it was just a defective part, or have they told you that something else is bent, or that it needs more that you're not doing, or is that all they're telling you it needs, and why are they telling you it's failed?
Well, the first one I could see, and they pointed out to me where the gasket came off.
The boot.
You could actually see, you could see it, and it was rusted. And I mean, it looked credible that we would need to just replace it.
Okay.
So they did, and then they thought it failed because it was a defective part.
Right.
So that was the second replacement.
So my over the radio picture in my mind of what's going on here is a couple of things, and Matt's really much more well versed in this than I am. But I think either something's bent, either something got bent by hitting a curb or a parking structure or a parking berm or something. Something got a little tweaked in here, and they're not catching it, or they're using a bad. We have had from a manufacturer. Did they change manufacturing parts, or are they using the same part each time?
This third time, they used a different manufacturer.
A different vendor. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That it still came back after the third time.
Yeah. So something else is wrong.
Okay,
here.
So here's what you do. Next Saturday morning, you get up a little bit earlier. You go out to start the car, take a drive it a little bit, make the noise. Then you call us and you hold the telephone up to the car, and so we can hear that noise.
Well, but when they replace the ball joint, it's fixing the noise.
No, it will still make a noise.
No, she says it fixes it for a while.
Yeah, but it's still
fixes it for about a week. But I was definitely noticing it
the other
again.
thing. Okay, I am currently helping out my guy that bought my shop and has the equipment that I used to have and so forth. And I'm there. That's what's
Absolute Auto.
Absolute
yeah,
Auto.
I think you should go by and see Matt at Absolute Auto and let him.
I'll drive the car and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do alignments and we do a lot of front end work.
Because you need another you need a second opinion now. You've given them 3 chances to do it. Yeah. I would go in.
Right.
And
I'm kind of leaning toward replacing all the ball joints. But you want to diagnose why this is happening in the first place, because something's not right here.
No, it definitely is not. So, but we are located on the corner of Capitolio and Sacramento Street.
Okay. And you said you would be there?
I'll be there in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, next week.
And so what happens sometimes, to explain this to you a little more, is just a picture in my mind, is we used to do a lot of ball joints without replacing the control arms. But we find that when a car's, let's say, 15 years old, and you try to press a ball joint out of a control arm that's already tweaked, you end up maybe tweaking it a little more because of the wear on everything. And the price of control arms has come down with ball joints. And so we tend to lean toward replacing control arm assemblies, which already have the ball joints pressed into them, and they're new parts. And that's just an option that I'm thinking of that might work better. Obviously, Matt to drive the car,
Yeah.
and you want somebody to look at it and see what's going on.
Right.
But, something's not right with this picture. And I think it's more than just defective parts. So
I'm
Okay.
there in the morning.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
Yeah, do that.
And you
please.
do have a good, if even though this is painful, Jessica, this is going to give you a good story to tell for a number of years.
I see, right?
Well, good luck. I will be interested to hear what the solution is.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
calling. By the way, you're the first caller, so stop by Continental Motor Works and we'll give you a prize for that.
Okay, perfect.
And hope you feel better soon. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
All right, bye. All right, good call from Jessica. And we're the Motor Mouse, Matt and Jeff. If you've had an experience with ball joints or 03 Explorers, you can call in and give your 2 cents at 543-8830. Love to hear from you about anything relating to cars, whether it be a car question or like Jessica had, or you got a warning light on, or a car story you want to share with us, or a funny noise, or a pet peeve about other drivers on the road. The lines are open, 543-8830.
Going back a few years, when I
Yeah.
first started working here in San Luis Obispo in the 50s, we used to do so much ball joint. You won't believe.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we were told that you're not supposed to have any looseness in the front end of a car.
Mm-hmm.
We jacked the car up and then grabbed hold of the tire and to move it, like if you had kingpins
Yeah.
on the car, you could tell. And boy, that is so loose.
When it's unloaded.
Unloaded,
Yeah.
so unloaded.
Yeah.
And
And
then-
unloaded means that the chassis is hanging down and,
Yeah,
the
right.
tires are not touching the ground.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So I bet, if you found out later on that
There is a little play.
that there's supposed to be some play in them,
Yeah.
or they came out of the factory with some play in them.
But they also used to not be made as well.
No, of
You know,
course
the
not.
ball joints used to go out a lot more, and on certain cars, they really did go out quite a bit. And there's some cars that have ball joints on the rear. And they
Oh
can
yeah,
be-
that
they can be-
ball joints are used like tie rod ends are ball
Yeah.
joint. So that's a very much used item.
And once again, when you have a car, usually within the first 100,000 miles, we don't see these kind of problems on
No,
the cars.
no.
But word to the wise, when you buy a car that's got 200,000 miles on it, that's another reason to have a vehicle pre-purchase inspection on it, because you got potential safety problems with a car. If you got a ball joint or a tie rod end or a wheel bearing.
Yeah.
Some of these things can be a catastrophic failure. People don't understand. I tell people, you got a wheel bearing. Well, I'll just wait. Well, I just want to tell you the consequences of if this wheel bearing, fails.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to give them a horror story, for sure thing, but we've seen it happen. The tire comes off.
Yeah, right.
The wheel comes off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're sliding. It's not, and when you drive a car and you hear a car go whoop, 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 it's time to replace that wheel bearing now.
Yeah, right.
You don't wait. It's going to fail. So there are some things that the benefits of getting a vehicle pre-purchase inspection, especially with a car like that, is huge.
Here's where to take it to a shop that puts a car on a hoist and put it up in the air.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you can detect that you might have some looseness in the front end or a bad wheel bearing, because the wheel is up there and you can grab hold of it and shake it, or you have to put a jack underneath the lower control arm at least in order to unload the wheel so that no it doesn't hit the ground anymore. And so this, to have a car take it in for service, oil change, do it in a place that puts the car up in the air and gets a fresh air underneath the car.
And somebody that's got, I have over 40 years of experience on cars. Matt has how many years?
56.
So when just driving the car, I don't want to brag, but I can get in a car. I am bragging a little. I can get in a car and just drive it around the block, and I can tell you a lot about it.
Oh, sure.
Just from that drive, I can feel, number one, it drives straight down the road. Number two, it doesn't have funny noises. Number three, it's got decent acceleration. It doesn't have any warning lights on. It brakes good. We call it a diagnostic test drive, and you can pick up about 100 things if you're really thinking about it and paying attention, and the wealth of experience that Matt and I have just in taking a drive around the block is a lot.
Sometimes you don't even have to take. We had a car in.
Sure, you go 5 feet.
We had a car in yesterday. I was going to talk about this because this is what have changed in automobiles over the last few years. Now, if you drive a car 150, 200,000 miles, the engine is working fine, everything is fine. Now you're getting some oil leaks.
Yeah.
That's because the oil, the seals that seals the oil have been heated up and cooled off so many times they become hard and oil seeps out. We used to have that with the car. If the car came in, we might have a valve job at 70,000 miles.
Yeah. And
of course, then you change the seals then. But, so anyway, we did some seal work on a vehicle. That was yesterday. And, so Jason told me to bring the car out. Me back in the car out of the shop, I felt the brake pedal keep on sinking underneath my foot. Each time I stepped on the brake, they went down a little further, and the next time a little further.
Beginning of a brake master cylinder.
So, but he drive the car in.
Yeah.
Didn't notice that. See, I noticed these things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of built in.
Yeah.
So,
and we all have our areas of expertise, for sure. Hey, we're Matt and Jeff. We're the Motor Mouths. We are here till 9 a.m. to talk with you about your car. The way that works is you call us at 543-8830, and we would love some more phone calls like Jessica calling. It just makes this show so much more interesting. So please call us, 543-8830. We'll be back.
And right now I got a classic commercial for a service station from the 1960s, and it's the husband telling now, honey, make sure the car is running correctly when you take the car in this morning. So, and it incorporates one of the favorite jingles that we have here on this show too. So from 1960s, here's a service station commercial for you.
Honey, about the car. Have them drain the crankcase, check the wheel bearings, drain the radiator, and have the manifold heat control valve checked. Got that?
Well, no. But
you can trust your car to the man who wears the star. He's the man best qualified to take care of your car for every Texaco station all across the nation. Texaco has chosen the man who wears the star. So trust your car to the man who wears the star.
Honey, I'm home. Hi. Oh, honey, did you have the car taken?
Of course. Everything. And our Texaco dealer and I agreed it was time to rotate the tires. So we did that, too.
You can trust your car to the man who wears the star. The big, bright Texaco star.
When it's time to service your car,
or a warning light is starting to glow,
go see the pros at Absolute Auto.
At the corner of Sacramento and Capitolio.
Having a problem with the brakes or the steering down below?
Or an alignment to adjust the tow?
Computer systems, they do know.
Call 543-8737 to reach Absolute Auto.
Here's some inside information to get your gas mileage back. Inside your engine, carbon builds up, clogging the injectors and combustion area. If you want your fuel system cleaned in just one tank of fuel, use what the inside car guys use most. It's called BG44K. In fact, service managers use it almost 3-to-1 over any other fuel system cleaner. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG.
Hi, this is Jeff Spevack, Motormouth co-host and owner of Continental Motor Works. What can you expect here at Continental? We will treat you and your car with care and respect and gratitude. We will bend over backwards to earn your trust. You will fully understand what we are doing on your car and know how much it will cost before we do the work. You will always get value, a fair exchange. You work hard for your money. We believe we should work smarter and harder for what you pay us for. Now in our 36th year, we fix it all. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and hybrids.
Call Jeff at Continental Motor Works at 541-1464. Mention this ad and receive 10% off labor.
Okay, we're back with one of the classic songs from the 50s, and we're the Motor Mouse, and Matt and Jeff, we're here to talk with you about your car. Love to hear from you. Phone lines are open, 543-8830. And I love that old Texaco commercial that we went off with before. That's just, you remember those kind of jingles. I
love it, yeah.
You can trust your car. Yeah. To the man who wears the star, it's great.
But you had...
full service.
Full service.
Yeah.
That was the best training ground there ever was for a new guy. A guy in high school or in grade school, he got a job as cleaning up at the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a training in how to talk to customers, how to behave himself, how to dress, how to do all these different things, of checking oil and looking at things and washing windows. And it was fantastic training. We don't have that today.
Yeah.
And I wish we had.
Yeah.
Because it was the beginning to a good mechanic that could do and be thorough in what he was doing.
Yeah, it gives you a good introduction into it, and you learn a lot, just by doing all that.
Yeah, think about all the different model vehicles that was coming by and so forth. I mean, that was really good.
So, by the way, we offer that full service at Continental Motor Works. You can stop in any time, and we'll pop out and check your tire pressures, pop your hood open, check your oil and your coolant and your trans fluid and your brake fluid and your power steering fluid and your windshield washer fluid, and top them up all for no charge while you wait. So take us up on that. There's no obligation. You don't have to be coming in for service. It's if you haven't had your car looked at in a long time and you just want somebody to just do a quick driveway check for you, we're glad to do it for you. We do it for a lot of elderly people in the area that really appreciate it, and we'll do it for anybody. So take advantage of that.
The young ones too?
The young ones too, yes.
Okay, fine.
No problem.
Yeah.
Hey, so we're talking a little bit about just car stuff, and we'd like you to be a part of that conversation, 543-8830.
Now, what should I watch out for if I've been driving through mud?
Oh. Okay, well, first of all, we have... you really want to be, you don't want to drive through anything that you're questionable about. So, driving through a creek, driving through, standing water, or driving through mud that's too thick, that's 4 feet deep, you can ruin your car. You can just flat out ruin your car. So you suck water into the engine, you ruin your engine, or you get water, into all kinds of different things in your car that can have a lasting effect. So, if in doubt, just don't do it. But, so
sometimes people are not in doubt. They just have to do it.
So what do you think about the mud? What should people be looking at?
Well, the thing is that, like you said, the mud is water, among other things. But you should take and check your wheel bearings if you have done that. You should also have the rear end checked, because there's a vent hose, especially on the rear end on the pickup truck. There's a vent hose that hooks up to the differential.
Yeah.
And if that vent hose is broken, then when the temperature in that differential changes, it sucks in, if it's warm from driving and then you get into water and it cools off, then it sucks in water.
And it'll ruin your differential.
And it ruins your differential.
Which is expensive.
Yeah. And of course in the brakes, you need to get all kinds of sand and stuff like that in the brakes. They start making noises and they wear out much faster.
So I guess the real answer would be, number one, if you've just driven through mud or water, don't just pull over and turn your car off. You have to go drive it, either go hose it off, which most people aren't going to do, or just go drive it for another 10 minutes and use everything, because then you'll kind of, get the mud and water off of your brakes. And you'll get assuming it's not raining, it's a good idea to drive your car a little more and get everything worn off. I remember a couple of funny stories where, someone, like a woman, will drive her car in and she'll go, my car's making the thump, thump, thump noise. And her tires are coated with mud, or her wheel wells. Oh, yeah, inside the wheel. And her husband had just taken the car out through a creek or something, and she didn't know about it.
Yeah, right.
And so it's like we have to clean the, hose it down, and then it's all good. But you have clumps of mud either in your tread or in your.
Well, it gets inside the wheel, inside the hubcap, behind the hubcap.
Yeah.
And so you might have a pound or two of that, so at 50 miles an hour.
If your car's going thump, 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 or if it's making noise on turns or something like that, you might have a clump of something in there. debris or something. And so that certainly happens, we were talking a little bit about, if you were raised on a ranch or a farm, you're kind of used to these kind of things.
Yeah, right.
You know how to deal with these kind of things. But most of us, city folks, it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's just different. So a couple of things happening this week is, I had a one person, they needed about $1,000 worth of work on their car. And they said, I'll just get another car,
Yeah.
And so we started talking about it. I said, okay, how long have you had your car? And she'd had it since new. And do you like your car? Yeah, I like my car. Well, then how much would you spend if you're going to go get another car? Well, I might buy a new car, so $20,000 or $30,000. And so I said, well, why don't you just consider spending $1,000 on your car and getting it fixed? You like your car. It's the most frugal thing you can do. She goes, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to think about not doing a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
And just kind of think about, number one, we've already looked at the car. We know that we've looked at the whole car. So we know that it doesn't need a whole bunch of other stuff. We're telling you everything that it needs at this time. So that's good. So, because I think your concern as a car owner would be, okay, well, I spend this $1,000 now, and then what's going to happen next month? Or
yeah, right.
What's going to happen in 6 months? Am I going to be doing this all the time? I don't want a money pit, and that all makes sense. So we need somebody to look at your whole car first and evaluate the whole car. What's everything that it needs that you can see?
And then you can also take and say that, well, you are going to need brakes in 3 months, in 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
And you might need to get the hoses and something else done within the next 6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
But at least you know about it.
Yeah, exactly. You want to know the whole story. And you want to know, is it a good car?
Yes.
This car's worth it.
Yeah.
And I like the car. And it'll are you going to be happy with it for another 3 years? Yeah. So that's a well-informed decision. And, it's something that, I think is something that you want your shop to be able to give you. So once again, just, you want to, we understand knee-jerk reactions. We understand being upset that your car needs stuff, but also you want to make the right decision and the right decision for your pocketbook, So, by the way, phone lines are open, 543-8830. That's 543-8830. This show is, so much more interesting and fun for us when you call. So we're asking you out there, give us a call and talk to us. Otherwise, we'll continue on our topics.
I have a thing about there's other hidden costs too with buying a newer car. First off, the DMV is going to charge you more because now you have a new car.
Yeah,
the registration is going to be more.
Sure.
Also, your insurance is going to go up because you have a newer car. And if you didn't have comp and collision before, the insurance company is going to require you to have both because you have a new car.
Yeah.
So your hidden costs are going to go up.
When you figure the first 5 years cost of owning a new car is probably $3,000 to $6,000 a year for 5 years, and the cost of keeping your car is most likely, on almost 95% of the cars I can think of, less than $1,000 a year.
The maintenance, yeah.
Yeah,
right. I agree with that.
Assuming your car's paid for. Okay.
Yes.
So, it's not even a close comparison. I mean, and usually evaluate it with your eyes wide open and, use a professional to help you make an informed decision. Hey, let's talk to Susan from Atascadero. Hi, Susan. Good morning.
Hi. Hello.
Thanks for calling. How are you?
A couple of vehicles, used. We're first-time owner of a Jetta, a VW Jetta, and 1998, and so it's going on 20 years, but it serves us very well. We have put in the maintenance. Oh, it's a diesel.
Okay.
And has saved us a lot of money. We've gotten up to 60 miles to a gallon in times past. It's going on 300,000 miles. So we did put some work in it recently, but when I started, I like to drive my BMW, but anyway.
I don't blame you.
Run around car.
I don't blame you.
We don't take it out of town.
Okay.
Well, we've got some problems with the BMW too, but we don't take the Jetta, just run around town. And so when I started up, it wants to it's really nervous, it wants to shake a little bit, and it sounds like it's vibrating a lot. But once I get up to a certain speed, after I get to the corner and start going, 25, 30 miles an hour, I get off my street, on a main street, I don't notice it at all. It's very, so I'm wondering if something needs to be lubed.
Okay, here's my prescription for you.
Okay.
Is you just told me the story that gave me a good clue. So just driving that car around town is probably not enough for it. And you have diesel injectors that are probably a little bit clogged. So get yourself, the product that we talk about on the show is called 44K. It's called, we sell it at Continental Motor Works, and other shops may sell it also. It's a BG product. You can use that, or you can use, like Lucas makes a diesel fuel cleaner. So put a can of fuel cleaner in the tank, fill the tank up, and go drive it for a couple hours.
Okay, you're gonna have to repeat that.
Okay, there's a product
I'm
called.
trying to write this down, but it's a little hard to hear. I don't know why. It sounds like you're on a cell phone, but you're not, and I'm not.
Sorry, I'll speak a little louder. So I recommend a product called 44K, which is a fuel cleaner, which you can put in the tank with a full tank of gas.
No gas. Diesel?
Okay, a full tank of fuel.
Is that 44K different for diesel or gas?
No, it works fine for diesel. But you can also use a diesel injector
cleaner,
specifically treatment.
Yes,
which would be
I do that.
Yeah,
couple of tablespoons for.
No, I want you to put a whole can of something in there that's meant to treat it, so it really cleans it. Put it in a full tank, and then use that whole tank. Go through a couple tanks of gas. Driving highway.
Gas, diesel.
And,
I mean, like freeway driving.
Like a couple tanks of gas. So go to, wherever, take it out on the freeway, use that car more. And I think that alone may just fix your problem. If it doesn't, considering you have 300,000 miles on it, you may actually need your injectors to be taken out and cleaned.
Sure, yeah.
And, or you may need a fuel filter. I don't know when the last time your fuel filter was replaced, but you probably should be doing that once a year. Your diesel filter. And those are the simple things that I can tell you. There are other things. It could have a problem with, a sensor or something else. Do you have a check engine light on?
It's too old for that.
Okay, no, 98 would still have it. But those are the.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
96 and later, all vehicles have a check engine light. So
it does, but it hardly ever comes on.
Well, that's good.
Except for the seatbelt. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What kind of oil are you using?
What kind of oil?
Yeah.
We like to use synthetic. We've always used synthetic.
Okay, that's fine. Now, Volkswagen are critical with the kind of oil that you put in that vehicle. My son-in-law had one, and he had to take and more or less throw it away after 100,000 miles because he used the wrong oil. So, my recommendation is that you find out from the dealer what kind of oil they recommend, and the difference in the price of the oil if you buy the oil for that vehicle from the dealer and not could make a difference. And to go synthetic is fine.
Yeah, so probably I think what Matt's talking about is more for the Volkswagens that are made in the last 10 years, which have direct injection.
All right.
And they tend to coke up on the valves if you're not using the correct oil. I think on your 98 Jetta TDI, I think you're probably okay using what you're using. But the
high grade. We try to get the high grade synthetic.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's probably would save the life of the car.
Sure.
Yeah. That's the best kind of oil. Best oil.
So I think, Susan, once again we say use it or lose it, and if you're just driving it around town, I bet it's getting a little clogged up. And I think Go ahead.
Yeah. a couple of weeks ago, we did drive it up to Salinas.
Oh, you did? Good.
But it only takes, it hardly even takes a half a tank of gas to go up there and back. Unless
That's great.
I've got to
That's great.
Drive it all over the place.
We'll go down to Santa Maria next time, or Santa Barbara.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're paying attention to it and taking good care of it, and you may have more problems than what I'm talking about, but I'm just trying to give you your least expensive option first.
Yeah, when we're trying to save it for like one of our kids, a car, a spare car. It's always nice to have a spare car. But I enjoy your program, and I was a little nervous about calling, but I'm glad I did.
We're so glad you called.
You help us feel relaxed. It's not like these other talk shows, like if you don't say the right thing, they cut you off. But you guys are great. I love to soak up knowledge anyway. That about cars, that's when we need to know about our vehicles. And,
knowledge is power, and makes you a better car owner too.
Exactly. Okay.
Well, thank you, Susan.
So
we really appreciate your phone call, and thanks
I'll call you again sometime.
All right.
About my BMW. Okay. Bye-bye.
Good luck with your Jetta. Yeah. Let us know what happens. All right. So we've had Jessica from Morro Bay, Susan from Atascadero. We probably need some calls from San Luis or Paso or maybe Arroyo Grande or Grover or Avila or wherever. Love to hear from you.
Let's have a break.
Santa Maria.
Yeah.
543-8830.
Let's have a break, then it gives them time to call and so forth, right?
543-8830. We're the Motor Mouse. We'll be back.
I got a classic commercial here. I found this one just this morning, and it's Don Adams from Get Smart here in a TV commercial for Texaco. Also, the other guy in the commercial, it's not mentioned, but it's Gary Berghoff, who played Radar O'Reilly on MASH. So it's pretty funny.
Hey, Mr. McAdams, this car at the Sky Chief pump.
Yes, what about it,
Well,
Fillmore?
the driver is a chimpanzee.
Well, of course he's a chimp. Fillmore, we Texaco dealers made a solemn promise to give every customer our check and double check service. And there's absolutely no mention on this promise about it not applying to chimpanzees. Now, you get started and I'll talk to the driver. Sorry about the delay, sir, but my assistant is checking your oil, water, battery, windshield, and double checking.
That's my chimpanzee you're talking to.
Oh, then you're the driver of this car.
Well, of course, he's not old enough to drive.
Oh, I guess it was the wrinkles that fooled me.
Check and double check service. Another good reason.
You can trust your car to the man who wears the star, the big, bright Texaco star.
When it's time to service your car,
or a warning light is starting to glow,
go see the pros at Absolute Auto.
At the corner of Sacramento and Capitolio.
Having a problem with the brakes or the steering down below?
Or an alignment to adjust the tow?
Computer systems, they do know.
Call 543-8737 to reach Absolute Auto.
Your car's fuel economy was never better than when it was new. But time and miles have robbed your car of its MPG and performance. Service managers recommend BG44K to remove carbon and restore mileage in just one tank of fuel. In fact, dealerships nationwide use BG44K almost 3-to-1 over any other product. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com.
BG. Can you imagine selling your car next week and saying to the buyer, hey, don't worry, because the engine is covered against failure for life. It's called the Lifetime Protection Plan for the Engine from BG Products. Now imagine having this huge benefit free with your next oil service when you remember these two letters, BG. BGMOA is available at over 20,000 shops nationwide. Find yours at bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG. Hi, this is Jeff Spevack, Motormouth co-host and owner of Continental Motor Works. What can you expect here at Continental? We will treat you and your car with care and respect and gratitude. We will bend over backwards to earn your trust. You will fully understand what we are doing on your car and know how much it will cost before we do the work. You will always get value, a fair exchange. You work hard for your money, we believe we should work smarter and harder for what you pay us for. Now in our 36th year, we fix it all. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and hybrids.
Call Jeff at Continental Motor Works at 541-1464. Mention this ad and receive 10% off labor.
Classic show, Get Smart with Don Adams. It was in that Texaco commercial. And Jim's great at bringing us these classic old commercials that just kind of put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Hey, so we're back. We're the Motor Mouse, Matt and Jeff. We're here for another 9 minutes to talk with you. You can reach us at 543-8830. We're talking about cars, and Jessica called about her 03 Ford Explorer with an upper ball joint problem that keeps on going out, so there's a problem there. Susan called from Atascadero with her 98 Volkswagen Jetta TDI diesel, and it's been a great car for her, but starting to shake a little bit at idle, and so we gave her some strategies on that. And I'd love to talk to you also, 543-8830. So brake warning light. So when a brake warning light comes on in your car, what are the possibilities?
Well, the possibility is that somebody been driving with the parking brake on. You know, I was we have a Ford, the shop car over at the shop, and so I've been driving it to pick up customer and deliver customer, and 3 times now I'm driven off. And then as I go down the road, I see that the light on, the parking brake is on. Yeah. And the person that puts the parking brake on, they just put their foot on it and maybe push it down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, isn't that what you do?
I mean, if you don't take and put the parking brake on, so you can't move the car.
Most people don't know how.
I mean, here's the guy's the shop owner and his wife that drives this vehicle, and they should know how to put the parking brake on. I mean, and I haven't talked to them about it yet, but I will talk about it because I've done it now 3 times.
Yeah.
Where I start to drive the car.
So the goal of your parking brake, let's start there.
Yeah. Right.
The goal of your parking brake is to keep the car from moving.
Yes.
Okay, you shouldn't be able to move it.
That's right.
Until you release it.
Even if you put the car in gear.
Okay, so 2 things have to happen to that effect. Number 1, you have to be to set the parking brake correctly. And number 2, it has to be working and adjusted.
Yes.
Okay. So assuming that it's working and adjusted, how do you set the parking brake properly?
You take a step on the service brake. So the brake.
So that's your regular brake.
The regular brake.
Step on the brake pedal.
And then you step on the parking brake.
Whether you pull it with your hand or you use your other foot or whatever. And it should work in about 5 clicks, 6 clicks maybe.
Yeah, well, yes.
Depending on the system.
Right.
But it should, and then if you want to test it, once you set it, put your car in gear and see if it moves.
Right.
You know, and it shouldn't. Otherwise, if it does and you've set it properly, then either a lot of times a parking brake is these shoes that are inside of your rear rotor. That's how many of them are now. Yeah. And those sometimes need adjustment. They don't, they're supposed to self-adjust, but they self-adjust when you use the parking brake. Right. And if you don't use the parking brake, then they don't self-adjust.
That's right.
And then over a long period of time, they get heated and the adjusters don't work in.
That's right.
So sometimes they need repair. Sometimes those, if you have a lot of miles on your car, those little shoes need to be replaced. But it's a really important thing, especially if you have a manual transmission. I see so many people, I get in a car and they got it in manual transmission, they got it in gear and they haven't set the parking brake.
Yeah.
That's nuts. I mean, you gotta have that parking brake, especially on a manual, but you should we always say use it or lose it. You should use your parking brake and use it properly.
Yes. Now, you know, as I said, adjust the brakes by putting the parking brake
on. And then the problem is when it's half put on, like Matt's talking about, and then you drive the car, you're just wearing it out.
Absolutely.
You're wearing those little shoes out, and that's what happens to them.
Big, heavy car. I'm not used to the car, so I don't know how well it's supposed to accelerate and how much gas is supposed to go. I mean, if it was my car, I could tell right away if it was just dragging just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I got into a different car. So, so then they say, well, don't we automatically take and put the parking brake off? No, because normally I don't set the parking brake except if I'm on hill.
And some of them don't have a light that tells you it's on.
No, that's right. Well, this one has a light, but it's in the corner of the dash. They're kind of hard to see.
So getting back to if your brake warning light is on, it's something that you should have checked out because it could be a safety problem. It could just be that your brake fluid's low.
Yeah, that is usually the test.
It could be that your emergency brake is on partially.
That's right.
It could be that your brakes are worn out, or that you're having a hydraulic problem with your brakes too. So it is something to be checked out.
Some of the foreign cars, they have sensors in the brake pads when they wear down to a certain point.
A lot of them do now.
Yeah, then the light will come on the dash.
That's usually when there's about 2 millimeters left on the brakes, which is, by the way, so if somebody tells you need brakes, ask some questions. Okay, how many millimeters are they on the brakes? How do the rotors look? Why are we doing the brakes? Etc.
Yes.
So I think it's good. You're supposed to legally be told the millimeters on your brakes, not just that they're worn out or a percentage. So that's a good spec to know.
Have the shop write it down.
Yeah. Well, we're going to close this show out because we only got 3 minutes left. So number one, we want to thank our callers, Jessica from Morro Bay and Susan from Atascadero, for making our show so much more interesting. We want to thank all of you listeners out there that are motor mouthers and we appreciate it, and it's what keeps us going.
Mouthers.
We try to have a good time here every week and be informative at the same time, and I hope we accomplish that today. We want to thank our sponsors. We have BG Products, featuring such great products as 44K Fuel Cleaner, synthetic transmission fluid, synthetic gear oils, which we carry at Continental Motor Works and many other great shops carry. You can look them up at bgfindashop.com and find out more about them. Absolute Auto is at the corner of Capitolio and Sacramento. Jason and Charlotte are local active business owners in the business, and so you're going to get excellent, competent, professional and local automotive repair there. And you might even see Matt there.
Yeah.
And of course, Continental Motor Works, we're at 1101 Laurel Lane. You can reach us at 541-1464. We are open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30. Bike Slow County, advocating for safer, you're trying to trip me up there.
The bike horn that I was looking for, but anyway.
You were waiting for that. That was good. Advocating for safer transportation throughout our county. You can go on the website, Bike Slow County, and learn more about it and get involved in, if you want to learn how to bike safely. They give adult biking classes. We're teaching the kids in the schools how to ride their bikes safely and improving the current bike lanes and advocating for more bike lanes, and also educating cars and bicyclists how to drive by the law and safely. All right. Well, it looks like a beautiful day out there. It's going to be hot today, by the way. It's going to be 78 degrees. I know that's hard to believe. So make sure you have a really great, safe weekend, and write your motor mouth questions down for next week, because Matt and Jeff will be back next Saturday morning. Thanks for being a part.
See you later.